Well, to start with, Dennis has had diabetes for years. Diabetic neuropathy, where he had lots of swelling in his feet and ankles. He was a truck driver, so he'd drive his semi for hours and his feet would be in so much pain that he would unlace his boots and have to take them off and just drive with his socks on because he could not take the pain. In 2018, he had a work accident, landed him in the ER. They thought that he had had a heart attack as a byproduct of the accident. Ended up keeping him for about 3 days, did a battery of tests on his heart. Doctor said that his heart was so healthy, he would outlive all of us. So he's in great shape. Also that same year in 2018, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and Lewy body dementia. And most people are familiar with Parkinson's, the tremors, that kind of stuff. Lewy body dementia causes him to have very vivid dreams to the point where he will act them out. His legs are moving, his fists are flying. I'm the recipient. It's not pretty. And he would fall out of bed. And so that's where we were at the end of 2018. In 2020, we had COVID here at our house. Got it again in March of 21. So we lived through the 2 cases of really ugly COVID. And then on April 1st, he went in for a routine colonoscopy, and the doctor stopped the colonoscopy and says, "You're in afib. It is serious. Go see a cardiologist. We'll finish this up when your heart's better." So set up an appointment with a cardiologist. He did confirm Dennis was in afib. Also checking, he had other multiple things going on. He was diagnosed as having hypertrophic cardiomyopathy and also congestive heart failure. So last year, he spent the entire year in bed, literally in bed from April on. We were at the doctor's office. He had 9 specialists keeping him alive last year. We were at the doctor's office within about 2 weeks, wasn't it, Dennis? Every 2 weeks, we had a different doctor. He was in the hospital having a procedure monthly for 6 consecutive months. One time they went in and did what they call a cardioablation, when they go in through the groin up into the inside of the heart, and then they mess around with the electrical part of the heart, trying to get him out of AFib and into a good rhythm. That didn't work. But the other 5 times he was there, he was having what was called a cardioversion, where they would physically stop his heart and then restart it with an electrical machine and hope that that would put him back in rhythm. And the last time we had that happen, when he woke up, he said, "My chest hurts, Janet. There's something different. My chest is killing me." And the doctor come back in the room and said that the electrical machine did not bring him back. And they had to jump on him and start doing manual CPR to bring him back, because they couldn't bring him back. And at that point, Dennis says, "We're done. You're done playing with my heart. We're done." But they wouldn't let us leave the hospital. That was in September of last year, because he could not sustain a good oxygen level. So his lungs had joined the party, apparently, and he was not getting enough oxygen. So they got us oxygen and sent us home. We were able to get into a pulmonologist pretty quickly. They did some testing to see about his lung function, which was not good. And the doctor in November of last year told us to expect for him to be on oxygen at least until December of this year. So for about 13 months. We did a follow-up with him, set up an appointment to go back to him in May of this year. So in February, I had some friends tell me about the patches, and my neighbor Judy Morgan had them, and I needed to call her. And well, I didn't. It was one more thing I had to deal with. And it was in February when Judy and Stacy knocked on my door and had a gift of patches for me. And by about day 3, I called Judy and said, sign me up, sign me up. And we got going on them, and I put Dennis on them immediately with me. So we started the patches February of this year when we went back into the pulmonologist for his follow-up testing. He was scheduled for 3 tests, and they did the first one. And then the nurse says, just stay right here. Don't start the next one. Stay right here. And she left and went to talk to the doctor and come back. And she said, the doctor doesn't want us to do the other 2 tests. Just let's go into the exam room. At that point, I thought, okay, he's telling me that my husband's going to be dead. I just really was concerned. He had been so sick. And when the doctor came in, he was all smiles and could not believe the difference in Dennis. He said between the first test they had done in November of 21, 6 months later, the second testing in May of 22, it looked as if 2 different men had done the tests. There was complete, total different healing. He didn't need his oxygen anymore. I had a happy man. He was no longer attached to a 50-foot life support hose. And it was as if he got his life back. He was thrilled to death. We are so very, very grateful. We started, like I said, the X39 in February, and there has been such a dramatic change for Dennis. We've all felt it. 3 of us in our family are on it. But with Dennis sleeping literally all of last year, he has so much energy, don't you dare? He goes nonstop. When he runs out of weeds in our yard, he's been helping a neighbor with her weeds. He just goes nonstop. His sleeping has improved greatly. He is no longer thrashing and beating me, bonus for both of us. He's no longer falling out of bed, which he was doing frequently and had actually cut his head open at one point from falling out of bed. That no longer is occurring. And he's off 3 of his medications. We were able to get him off his diabetes medication, and we've been able to keep his A1C level down between 5.1 and 5.3, which is phenomenal considering he's had diabetes for
wow,
15, 20 years. Yeah. The tremor medication he took for the shakes or the tremors with his Parkinsons, we took him off of that, and he has a very slight tremor. If he's tired, you can notice it more, but for now, he's on no medication for that, for the Parkinson's, and we were able to take him off one of his heart medications. And the doctors all last year, after we went in May, had cut us loose for the remainder of this year. So we're not visiting the hospital 2 and 3 times a month. And we will follow up with a few of them next year just to see where he's at. But it has been life-changing. We did exactly what David Schmidt, as I've learned since we've started these, said, eat healthy, which we did. We started our health journey last year in July, because I really thought I was going to lose my husband. So we changed our eating habits. We take supplements if we need it. And we wear our X39 faithfully every day. And we will not be without it. It's been such a blessing for us. As a bonus, Charity, Dennis has lost 100 pounds, a little bit over 100 pounds. And we were losing along, but I feel like the patches has helped. It's kind of kick-started, even though we had changed our diet.
Yeah.
And it's kind of changing our body composition, but overall we feel so much better. Knees, feet, there's no aches. It's truly a miracle. So grateful for this technology.